Hello everyone, I am Alka1993. Welcome back to the Initials Tournament. It is time for round 3, the quarterfinals. 3 more matches have to be won for me to become champion. My opponent in the quarterfinals is vvooper, or just Wooper, I suppose, if you want to pronounce it the easy way. It's written as vvooper, but their profile image is a Wooper, so that was likely done on purpose. I'll just go with their showdown name, which is Double Chalupa. It's us against Double Chalupa. Let's get into game 1. Their initials JMM gave them the Pokemon Jolteon, Mantine, and Mimikyu. And considering I also have a Mimikyu, that makes an interesting matchup. It could have been that they only had 2 initials, J and M. It turns out they have M twice in their initials, which is very much possible. For the opening of this match, I quite quickly realized it was just going to be Heracross, because Ambipom strategy, you still haven't seen it, but it doesn't work against ghost types. So I was very afraid of Mimikyu. I really wanted that Mimikyu gone. I could have sent in my Mimikyu, but I prefer to have a setup turn with Mimikyu with Sword Dance. I will get it via its disguise ability, but I prefer to keep it as a switch-in. Also due to the fact that it has a red card as an item, so I thought, okay, I feel that Heracross would be a decent opening against all of them. Best against Mantine, but it'll be a good one against all of them. The match starts, and Jolteon is the Pokemon that comes out. I feel I'll be good. Jolteon likely doesn't have a move that can KO Heracross, because there's generally no hidden power flying or psychic on a Jolteon. Generally it's hidden power ice. And then it's like Thunderbolt or Volt Switch. So in that case, I can just stay in and attack. I feel the best way to go, especially considering Jolteon will go first, is just close combat, because they'll just attack before me, so the defense drop won't be a factor in the damage they deal. However, knowing that a lot of Jolteons, especially a lot of fast electric Pokemon, run Volt Switch, I did expect that. And considering close combat will be not very effective against Mantine, and is not effective at all against Mimikyu, I expected a switch into them, almost certainly into Mimikyu, expecting the close combat to come in. So I think, okay, so then it's Pin Missile or Rock Blast. I decided to go with Rock Blast because Pin Missile is still not very effective against Mimikyu. And I just want to hit the Mimikyu as hard as I can, because that's almost certainly the switch, I would assume. And I suppose if they switch to Mantine, it'd be nice against them, but I definitely expected a Volt Switch into Mimikyu. So I decided Mega Evolve and Rock Blast. Volt Switch does indeed happen, but they don't switch to Mimikyu. They switch into Mantine, and I'm like, yes, because that thing has special defense, not necessarily that much physical. And I hit my first Rock Blast for over 20%, and then I knew, that's it, Mantine, done. Got that. What does the opponent decide to do? Well, they sent Jolteon back in, decided to go with a Thunderbolt to get the KO. More damage than the Volt Switch would do with, I believe, 20% more power, 70 to 90. Should notice that they do have Life Orb to add on to the damage that they deal. Now, they're at 81%. We're equal in Pokemon. And I could use both Mimikyu and Ambipom here. However, knowing what Ambipom's thing is, and knowing it cannot do anything against Mimikyu, I'm like, might as well use it now against Jolteon. So this is going to be the first time you're going to see Ambipom. Flying Bird, go. I fake out 60% damage. That's quite a lot, isn't it? That is partially due to its ability Technician, boosting it. Stab helps being a normal type. But it also has the Silk Scarf item, and an item you don't really see often, like the regular type boosters. 20% extra damage to normal type moves. So Fake Out goes from base 40 to 60 from Technician to 90 from Stab to 118 power if you also factor in Silk Scarf. So that's a lot. 20% also only on that Jolteon. Naturally, that Jolteon is faster. Jolteon is one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, so it will hit me hard. Potentially, there's a Volt Switch. I did expect just to get hit by a Thunderbolt so they could deal as much damage as possible. And there's really only one other move that I could use. I take 91% damage, but here we go with Last Resort. Yes, you saw that correctly. It is Last Resort that is my second move. This Ambipom is Fake Out Last Resort. I built that in Gen 5 or 6. No, I had it in 6, I think. And I used that in, I think, triple battles, but also rotation. I used that. I believe mostly in triple battles. And I never had a 6v6 singles team that I was super happy with. Although there was one that worked out real nicely, and I actually had Ambipom in there for the gimmick. I really like that. So yay for Ambipom. Thing is, it's Fake on Last Resort. 2 normal moves. It cannot do a single thing against ghost types. You can also understand why in previous rounds against Jirachi or something like that, I was a bit afraid with Ambipom because it would be resisted. It's a risky move, but as I said with this tournament, it's definitely we're doing competition, therefore we're trying to be competitive and win. However, this is my main gimmick, the fun and unexpected part, the unexpected part that I'm adding to this tournament. Thing is, they have a ghost type, so knowing how Mimikyus usually run, they usually have player off, Shadow Claw, Swords Dance, generally Shadow Sneak is the fourth, although I can't differ. Either way, they're a ghost type and they have setup moves. So they can easily set up Swords Dance 3 times with Ambipom. I could switch into Mimikyu just to force them out of that continuous setup. However, then it would depend on Mimikyu versus Mimikyu speed tie, maybe mine is trained differently than theirs. And I'm like, I don't want to switch and put myself in a disadvantage with Mimikyu, having my disguise already gone because they won't switch out due to red card because they don't have another Pokemon. I'm taking the risk that they won't set up a lot, or that they will set up a lot, and then I just hopefully win the speed tie or just be faster. I decided to just go with Last Resort, and I'm very surprised they didn't set up at all. Naturally use player off because Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak don't actually affect Ambipom because it is a normal type after all, but I'm once again very surprised that they didn't set up. Knowing they didn't set up, we are now both still with Disguise active. They don't have a setup, so it's really just who does what. I feel at this point that would their Disguise be gone, a Shadow Claw may not KO, so we may need a Swords Dance setup. It is what they go for. I decide, no, I'm just gonna go attack. Shadow Claw, get rid of their Disguise. At this point, they have a Disguise. They have Disguise off. I can damage them. They can't damage me. They will almost 100% attack me, Shadow Claw almost certainly, just to get rid of that Disguise and hopefully next turn hit me hard. I'm just going to hope Shadow Claw deal good damage. It has increased critical hit ratio. Maybe I can make use of that just to get instant KO and take the first game. And even if not, then Shadow Sneak may just take me to victory. I did go... No, they went first on their turn, so... maybe a speed tie. But look at this, I go first. So actually, it was indeed a speed tie. But I had a bit of the luck there, even though this turn I didn't seem to really need it, because it was a one-shot once the Disguise was gone. The Sword Sense was not necessary, and I win 1-0. First game is to me. Double Troop immediately announced they will switch teams, and after a bit of consideration, I decided to swap teams as well. So I decided to just go with my second team because I feel I've used my gimmick, I've shown my gimmick. I do want to have now a bit of a higher chance of winning because I do feel my second team is better, is stronger. Also because this team is purely physical. There are no special attacks or special attackers no special attacks in this team whatsoever. So to have a bit more of a mix in that is nice as well. So I switched to my second team, leading 1-0. Let's go to game number 2. In game number 2, I see Jirachi once again. We've not seen Jirachi for a while. Just joking. We've seen Jirachi before, definitely. And then the two M's are Manaphy and Meowstic. It's male Meowstic, so that's likely going to be a defense thing. I'm immediately thinking light clay, double screen, so reflect light screen, possibly some other things to mess with. I wasn't sure whether to have Prankster or not. There was a good chance of that. I wasn't sure at the start of this match. Manaphy, I recall trying to put it on a Gen 6 team, single battle team. Didn't really work out that well as a Pokemon. It's a strong one, but I didn't really get it to work as well as I'd like. Tail Glow into 3 other attacks is the only set that I knew, or really move set that I thought that could work well for a Manaphy, especially outside of a rain team. And then there's Jirachi, which could be a choice scarf thing, or just could be general fast Iron Head. You know, that's how Jirachi plays. For my opening, I expected a turn 1 Meow Stick due to the fact that it's only a 3v3. A light clay screen, whether it is reflect or light screen or even both, will likely stay up for most, if not the entire match. So I definitely expect a Meow Stick to go first. So Azumarill wasn't going to work because it needs Belly Drum setup to do well, and Azumarill is almost certainly going to be a Belly Drum set, so they know to play Reflect at that time. Magearna potential is there, but I thought Hoopa is the way to go, and you will see soon why. So I send in my Hoopa Unbound, my Rayman, which is actually the first time in this tournament that I do send in Hoopa, because round 2, the only time I've used this team so far, you only saw Azumarill. They send in Meowstic. Now I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? At this point, I believe I was able to confirm that they did have Prankster, so they were going to go first, almost certainly going to set up screens, either light screen or reflect. So I'm thinking, okay, the screen that they are going to use, assuming it is the one that works against me, I expect to still be able to 2-hit KO them with my stab super effective Dark move. So I go to do just that and send in Dark Pulse. I use Dark Pulse. They send in Reflect, expecting a physical Hoopa. I did see on Smogon some suggested physical sets on Hoopa, but I thought I would go with something different. I decided to take a special set for Hoopa, and that worked out well here, them expecting the physical, setting up the Reflect, which isn't that good for Azumarill later in the match, but I do lead with 3-2 with still a full HP Jirachi, full HP Hoopa. They do send in Jirachi, have a Reflect up, and I believe at this time I'm thinking, okay, I can still be faster. Rayman, I believe Hoopa Unbound isn't too fast. I want to say 65 base speed, or is it Magearna? No, Hoopa has 80. Jirachi, just like Manaphy, has base 100. So as long as it doesn't have Choice Scarf, mine will outspeed and will go first because my Hoopa has Choice Scarf. So I'm just hoping they don't. They do, and they have U-turn. So I'm like, oh yeah, they can have U-turn. So likely a Choice Scarf thing, and U-turn just with 4 times effectiveness, they get that in. Switch to Manaphy. Reflect is still there, so I'm thinking, yeah, Azumarill isn't going to really work out. I would like to have it set up, but if I just set it up and then try and attack, then Reflect will just stop me, even if I hit it really hard with Player Off. And then they can just set up with Tail Glow, likely hit me really hard, Jirachi can finish me off, and then still probably do well against Magearna. So I think Magearna is going in now. They will likely set up at least once with Tail Glow. 3 stages special attack increase, that is a lot. I'm thinking still Magearna is the way to go. They are very unlikely to Choice Scarf, also because I believe there's Item Clause. Is there Item Clause in OEU? There actually is not, which I'm surprised about. Huh, I really thought there was Item Clause. Anyway, there is not. However, I just expect a Tail Glow, and I know that Manaphy has base 100 speed. Rosemon here, my Magearna, does have speed investment. Well, base 65 speed isn't going to outspeed, so I do this move. They go Tail Glow, I go Shift Gear, doubles my speed, increases my physical attack. This is actually a special Magearna, not a physical one, so the attack increase really doesn't matter. It just works against me when I'm confused, I suppose. But double speed is the main thing. I wanted to outspeed the Manaphy. In the end, it doesn't really matter because I'll still get a hit in before them, even if I wouldn't have used the move. But this way, it can work out with one possibilities of like paralysis, because I do have Thunderbolt in this Pokemon, but also going into the next Pokemon with Jirachi, maybe the speed will matter as well. Although now that I think about it, it doesn't, because Choice Scarf. But I actually use Thunderbolt and get a critical hit, which I feel is really critical in this battle, because I feel that the Manaphy would have been able to deal a lot of damage. I'm not sure if it would have KO'd. I don't think so. Strong water move, that would likely be either Scald or Surf, and with Stab, 100 special attack base, they would have at least been able to deal a lot of damage, and maybe allowed them to get a better hit in for Magearna, knowing Azumarill was still coming up. However, they send in Jirachi. What are they going to do? They are confirmed Choice Scarf, because no way I outspeed them without that. And they go with... no, they don't actually go with something yet, because I go first thanks to my increase in speed. I go for my Z move, and I have a fighting type Z move, all out pummeling, dealing 99.1% damage. They go with Fire Punch, deals under 50%. However, they were likely hoping for probably above 50%, maybe even to outspeed if I had little speed investment. That didn't work out for them. They were also hoping for the burn, which did not happen, which would have helped them get a 2-hit KO. But knowing I have Thunderbolts, they knew at this point that the game was over. Which it is indeed. Thunderbolt comes out again from Rosemon. This game is won 2-0, and I win the match, move on to the semi-finals. Which actually means that there are only 2 people, myself included, that are left that haven't lost yet. Sure, there is another grand or true final beyond that, due to the fact that it's double elimination, so the winner from the losers bracket will still be in those finals. But for now, I'm one of the 2 remaining that hasn't lost yet, which is awesome. The competition has gotten more difficult and stronger. This was definitely, I would say it's a very difficult fight, challenging to do. So I wouldn't really say there were a lot of predictions in this match. Those are more in game 1. But with the setup of Meowstic, that was just really good. It's just unfortunate for them, very fortunate for me, that they expected a physical Hoopa, well, I had a special one. And then the critical hit from Magearna on the Manaphy, I believe, didn't matter as well, because if that wouldn't have happened, I'm not sure how much damage it would have done, if it would have been a KO or not. If it would have been a KO, I would have been done. They would have won, because I needed a setup turn for Zoom Rail. They would have been able to deal damage on it, and then Jirachi would very likely have been able to finish it off. If it wouldn't have KO'd, then Jirachi would have likely not used Fire Punch, because remember, they were locked into Fire Punch. Even if they took out Rosemon, they still had to deal with the Zoom Rail with Fire Punch. So unless they got instant burn, it was going to be very difficult for them. If Rosemon would have been at very low HP, they would have likely been gone with Iron Head, which due to Zoom Rail's partial fairy typing, would have just dealt normal damage and not resisted, because it was originally just pure water before Gen 6. Now it's Water Fairy, still is normal damage, and then they would have likely just gone for Flinch Hopes. However, I would have likely just Aqua Jetted. Although, no, I would have maybe used Knockoff the first time, because there's Knockoff on this Zoom Rail. Because that is super effective, especially considering Choice Scarf, that would have dealt extra damage. But that's all potential things of what could have happened. They didn't happen. Turn 1 really helped them putting up Reflect instead of Light Screen, worked out with Hoopa. And then the critical hit with Rosemon against Manaphy, that worked out too. I win the fight 2-0. I move on to the semi-finals, where I will be facing Flash Silver, who at this point I already realized, I believe even before this match against Double Chalupa started, that one of their initials is a Z. And they have a Zapdos that is really annoying. I did not know why. I didn't really want to know. I wanted the surprise to come in the fight. But you're going to see that in the semi-finals against Flash Silver. Their Zapdos is annoying. So look forward to that fight, because the fight against Flash Silver is a really, really good one. I'll see you in the semi-finals. Goodbye.